It's just sad. It's really sad. I'm sad for Magical Girl. I'm sad for my champion. Guys, welcome back to the galaxy. So excited to bring you guys another video for Dungeon Hunter Champions. In today's video, we are going to be covering Update 5 patch notes. As you guys know, they just launched them, so we're going to dive right into them. But first, if it's your first time to my channel, I'm XenaStar. I'm a Twitch live streamer as well as a video game content creator here on YouTube. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Let's hang out. So today we're going to be covering off the Update 5 patch notes. As you guys may or may not know, Dungeon Hunter Champions launched the Update 5 patch notes a couple days ago. I haven't got a chance to make a video on them yet, so I'm really excited to go through them with you guys. There's a lot, so we're gonna go through them and basically talk about all the highlights from it. Get excited for Update 5. I don't know when it's coming. Hopefully it's coming this week, but we'll find out. There's a lot of really great stuff to go through, so let's dive into it here. If you guys haven't been able to check out the patch notes, I'll have a link in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. And we'll be talking about it live on stream when Update 5 goes live, so if you want to check that out, make sure you're following me on Twitch or you're checking me out on Instagram or Twitter, because I always post when I go live on there. I'm looking at this on their Facebook page. That's where you can find most of their patch notes, updates, that kind of stuff. So make sure if you guys aren't in the DHC Discord or following them on Facebook that you guys are. I'll have links down below as I always do. So let's check this out. I'm really pumped. A lot of bug updates are coming in Update 5, so that's really great. So let's just look at the highlights. They're kind of here at the start. So there's a new feature that's coming out called Path to Glory, which is really to help new players. It's a quest system designed to help new players figure out which champions to build towards endgame. So it's basically a bit more of a guide for a new player on what to focus on, so that you're not wasting your time building champions that aren't really useful. Like everyone gets their Fire Bounty Hunter when they first start and they're like, oh, this guy's gonna be great. Don't build him. But yeah, so that's really cool. There's also a bunch of gear buffs. Champion rebalancing is huge in this update. We'll go through some of it, but not all of it, because so many champions are getting switched around, not only in just regular game, but in 5v5. Easier, more rewarding bosses, co-op rework. They totally are making over co-op, which is awesome. And there's a lot of 5v5 changes. So let's dive into it and have a look. So metagame, new feature, Path to Glory, a quest system designed to help early game players choose which champions to build and teach strategies for more difficult challenges such as the Elder Drake. So rather than having to figure it out on your own, or come into our Twitch streams or rely on YouTube videos getting uploaded, the game is going to have a system built into it to help those newer players figure out what to do. Found in the new Path to Glory tab and missions menu. Now I'm curious, I'm assuming the Path to Glory is going to be available for all players, that not just new players, but I'm assuming we're all gonna get a chance to go through that mission, so hopefully there'll be like some cool rewards or something. Shortcut can be found in the new goals tab in the mission widget, unlocked by completing board 4 in adventure, so pretty simple for the newest players to even complete that. Most quests for the system are retroactive. Players who have already completed them may immediately claim the rewards. Ah, that's so exciting. Okay, so that answered the question that I had. That's great. This feature will release with one chapter of the quests, defeating the Elder Drake. More chapters coming soon. Okay, so this is really exciting. So this is like the first bit of it, and it'll be an ongoing thing, which is really exciting. Daily quests for train 3 times will now count training a single time with multiple material champions. Oh, that's great. Okay, that's a really small tweak, but that's kind of nice. Gear. So let's take a look at the gear changes. So we found that many late game gear sets were underperforming. As you guys know, most people really lean towards Adept Immortal gears because the other ones seem unobtainable for someone like myself. Even getting Bladed, Withering, and Martial sets are like, I'm not able to. However, with all the changes that are coming out, be able to farm that more, which I'm really excited. But this is exciting. So Blighted, Withering, and Martial essentially are being their effects are going to get applied more quickly, which is great. Instead of Blighted being every 8th attack, it's going to be every 8th attack instead of 10th. And same for Withering. And then Martial is going to damage multiplier triggers every 1 second instead of 2. So basically getting cut in half. So that's going to be super helpful for those gear sets and make them a little bit more attractive to the players that want to start building with those. Let's take a look at boss raids. So this is pretty big. Most of the boss raids are getting changed to be a little bit easier, minus like Steel Widow and Elder Drake. As you guys know, those got a huge workaround in the last update. However, King of Fighters and Outer Harbinger are going to be changed pretty significantly. The King of Fighters, as you guys know, is a pretty difficult boss raid. Like for myself, I normally farm floor 5 just because it's the fastest, and the rewards weren't very good for King of Fighters in terms of the stages. The raid now drops a bunch of gold, which is great because that was one of the things when you're looking at what do I farm, like yeah, I want to go up in the leaderboards, but I also really need gold to work on the existing champions I have. Switching over to farm KOF was kind of like not as enticing as it might be now. So now we can get a substantial amount of gold, reduce the enemy damage of all the stages, slightly increase the boss Mai's survivability, remove Mai's immunity to blind, silence, and provoke. So now there will be the ability to really get through those raid bosses better, which is great. Outer Harbinger is a pretty big change, so it was far too punishing for the rewards. I agree 100%, especially for how long like if you were going to farm it, like your runs were usually pretty long and the rewards just aren't very good. So essentially for Outer Harbinger, the difficulty was lowered overall, and then the gear has been buffed. So you get better gear rewarded to you for doing it, and then also, you know, you'll be able to actually beat it. I still haven't got past, I think, stage 7, so I'm looking forward to seeing if now with these adjustments, especially reduces the boss shield's HP by 25%. That's huge, just cutting through that shield. And then the regeneration amount per tick has been reduced by 50%. So that'll really be a huge game changer when it comes to working on a team for Outer Harbinger. And I'm really excited to actually start farming it, because right now I don't farm it because it's just too much for how much time I'm spending in it, for the rewards I'm getting. Not something for me that's really feasible. Let's get into co-op boss raids. I'm really pumped for this. Right now I don't do a lot of co-op unless I'm streaming and I pair up with like my viewers and we do some co-op boss raids. Right now I don't do a lot of it because I just don't get enough rewards from it that I feel like it's worth the time that I've put into it. So the changes have really significantly impacted that. So this is gonna be great. Now there will be a new reward where the Baldrigor boss is gonna drop bronze, silver, and gold skulls in addition to his normal loot table. So the skulls can be redeemed in the shop for high quality gear of a variety of sets, including those from other bosses such as Adept and Mortal. So I don't know, I'm wondering if those are gonna be similar to like the Drake skulls, and then you'll have like different boxes that you pull from. It'll be interesting to see how that looks and what type of gear quality you're gonna get from bronze, silver, and gold. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Increase gold drop per run significantly to compensate for a longer time required to organize and complete runs. That is nice because, again, when you're putting time into co-op, you're also losing the ability to farm lots of gold for those, you know, gear sets that you want to level up. Increase the chaos shard drop per run significantly, again to compensate for time required. Increase the rarity of gear drops significantly, which is great because even just doing epic takes time, right? So not even being able to get any usable gear from that is kind of frustrating, especially if you're a newer player and you're starting to venture into that. So epic and legend difficulties now only drop rare quality or higher gear with higher rates of legendary gear than before. And legend difficulty has a much higher drop rate for 6-star gear, which is awesome. Nightmare difficulty now only drops epic quality gear or higher gear with higher rates of legendary gear than before. So now their drop rates have been increased, which is awesome. Makes it more desirable for us to actually work on co-op. Exhaustion rework. This is really great, especially for someone that does a lot of legendary or higher. The way their exhaustion worked before is you could get, the champion could be used once per difficulty per day. And now instead of that, it's just you can raid 3 times per champion, regardless of which difficulty you do. So rather than you know, say you're beyond doing epic, now you can take that champion and use it maybe 3 times in legend or 3 times in nightmare versus, okay, I'm gonna use it once here, once there, once there. This is gonna allow you to do and farm co-op based on where you're at in the game and what difficulty level really suits you based on where you're at. So the replay feature is awesome because now you can just hit a replay button and then it's just gonna allow the players that you already have teamed up with you to start basically a new lobby. So that is nice rather than having to re-add everyone to the screen, which again is just like a time saver, and time is money. Time is money in this game. Okay, difficulty rework. So basically they've reworked the difficulty and made it a little bit easier. The Baldrigar is gonna fly away less from the platform, which is great because that just means you have more opportunity to do damage. Reduce the overall skill damage on all difficulty, but slightly increase his contagious spittle attack damage. Totally fine with that. And basically he's going to switch phases only 3 times now versus 4, so that is great, and he won't fly away from the platform when he does so. Pretty simple. You can see here there's changes for specific elements as well. We're not going to go through those, but each element had a specific adjustment done to it. And then there was obviously bug fixes here. As you guys know, that was a big complaint with co-op, was there was bugs, right? So a lot of the focus on this update is fixing those bugs that are currently existing in the game, making it a more smooth gameplay for us, which is great. Let's talk about gameplay. So there has been 3 new buffs introduced to gameplay. So there's the toughness, weakness, and strength buff. If you look here, the new buff toughness, 10% reduced damage taken, stacking up to 5 times. Weakness is 10% reduced damage dealt, stacking up to 5 times. And then strength, 10% increased damage dealt, stacking up to 5 times. So these are definitely gonna change the meta a little bit, change how different champions work, especially if they're based on buffs or debuffs being applied. So that's really cool. A lot of champions got changed to incorporate these new buffs, so that will be in the champion balancing portion of the update notes. So one of the good changes that was made was buff stealing can now be resisted and uses caster's accuracy versus the target's resistance, similar to remove buff and inflict debuff effects. That's great. And then block buffs, buff debuff now blocks most shields. That's a huge change, except obviously for boss raids, but that is great. So, and now blocks most shields. So that's gonna change up a lot in Arena, I think, in terms of the meta, potentially guild wars, you know, there's a lot of areas that that's gonna affect for sure. And then there's an explanation why they changed these buffs, and really it's just to change up the meta for sure. Many of the most popular champions relied heavily on effects that didn't use the buff debuff system. For instance, Diva and Magical Girl. And they just did, there wasn't counters for those metas, right? So this is to help us have counters for the existing metas, and those metas are drastically changing, as you'll see in the champion balancing. So let's move on. There's a lot more explanation here. You guys can read through that. But one of the other things to note is champions like the Bomber and Crow Hag are now going to benefit from their offensive abilities because they rely on the opponents having buffs. And now that there's more buffs available in the game, this is just gonna make those champions more desirable to build and use. So let's take a look at Arena and what changes were made. Players must now wait 1 hour after changing their Arena defense team. This is good news. So this is really to prevent players from exploiting changing their defense a whole bunch of times to prevent players from attacking them during rush hour. So this is actually really great. So pick your freaking Arena defense team, put it in, and leave it there. So I like this. I always have a challenge in Arena Rush, so I'm really pumped for that change. Made an adjustment to Arena Matchmaking to ensure that players at the top of the leaderboard who have a big gap in trophies from the next highest player will show up in the attack list of players close to their rank. So that's gonna be great. Matchmaking is being improved. And then lower the trophy requirements for many reward tiers to better reflect scores being achieved by the community. So that's good. Overall, good changes to Arena. Nothing drastic, but obviously stuff that needs to be implemented. As you guys know now, there's been changes to the revenge list. So that in itself was a great change. This is just even better overall for the game, to really just change it up and make sure that people can actually get, you know, to where they belong in Arena. So that's good. Now on to my favorite part of Update 5, talking about Guild Wars. There's a lot of great changes, especially for someone who is the leader of a guild. This is just gonna take a lot of work off of me, which I'm really pumped. So new features added to Guild War, like Prepare War. So the guild leader or officers can select the attackers for the next war at any time. Visible by all players, but can now only be changed by guild leaders and officers, obviously. So this is really great, and I'm gonna tell you why once we get into talking about auto declare war. So auto declare war is pretty simple. There's a lot of information on here, but basically this new feature, you will be able to automatically start the war as soon as possible once the current war ends. So why that's so important is sometimes we have a life outside playing our mobile games, imagine that. And sometimes we aren't always able to start wars. So now we have the ability to have it auto started. And what's great about these two features coming out together is, so let's say I'm a guild leader and I wanna make sure that the next war starts on time, but let's say I'm at work and I know that my other officer isn't able to get around to it. So I can be proactive. I can not only prepare for the war and set who I want to be in the next battle ahead of time, but I can turn on the auto declare war. So now not only is it gonna put the people in that I want to fight in the next battle, but it's gonna auto start it for me. So if for whatever reason I'm not able to start it, it's all taken care of, people can start hitting. This is especially important when you have people in different time zones, and starting wars at specific times is important because they might only have a few hours left of the day to actually get their war in before they go to bed or whatever that might be. So yeah, this is really, really exciting. There's a lot here to read about it. I'll let you guys read through that to see how it works. But that's pretty much in a nutshell how it works, and I'm really excited for that because that's just super helpful for management inside of the guild. Other small changes that were made, a lot of these are like visual changes, but the health and threshold are now displayed in the war log, which is great. Notification dot added to let players know that the next war is available. Lots of little changes like that. The health bar is now displayed in red, and a numerical value will now be seen for the guild health bar, which is great. So lots of little stuff, and push notifications when the war is declared if you use like a mobile phone, Android or iOS, as you see here. Also, there's a timer added to update information about the end of the war and season, so that's really great. Disqualification logic has been approved, synchronization is improved, and here's my favorite change. Well, I shouldn't say my favorite change, but something that I actually suggested in a podcast a while ago got implemented, and I'm so excited. Players can now give up during the action phase to move on to the next round. It will no longer forfeit the whole battle. Thank you for listening and implementing this. So now, if I'm in my first phase and I'm in Guild War and I want to cancel it because I'm dying and I know I'm not going to beat it, rather than wiping out my entire team, I can stop that and move on to the next round. I literally suggested it and it got implemented. You're welcome. Anyways, obviously you guys can see there's also a bunch of bug fixes to go along. All the stuff that we really needed in place in terms of bug fixes. This is, I can't speak. There's a lot of bug fixes that were done for Guild Wars, so that's exciting. Let's move on. Champion balancing, okay. There are a lot of changes to champions. I'm gonna just give you guys a few snippets because I don't want this video to be like 16 hours long, because I probably could go on for that long about everything. But let's just look at some of the highlights that are really huge. So we finally got it, guys. We got the Nature Archangel buffed to where he will be usable. Celestial Splendor on the Nature is now based, okay, I can't speak. I literally cannot speak today, okay. Archangel, Nature, Celestial Splendor. Based on community feedback, the immunity buff now applies to the entire party instead of just itself. That is amazing. I don't have a Nature Archangel, but now I want one. So congrats to all of you that have gotten one and have been holding on to him, because now he has AoE immunity for your whole team. Congrats. Now he's like moving up on my list of wants for the next summoning session. By the way, March 23rd, next summoning session. Get in on it. I'm gonna scroll down. There were some changes to the Blade Master, the Light and Water. nothing crazy drastic, but I finally got a Water Blade Master and now they're changing her. Cool, story of my life. Crowhead had some pretty significant changes as well. I'm just working on building my first water one, so I'm not gonna get into that, but let's talk about the Diva, because that's a pretty huge change, and we all knew this was coming because a bunch of leaks were put out in the Discord. Again, another reason to be in the DHC Discord, because Dan likes to leak stuff to us. So does Scotty, so does Sean, but we got some really juicy leaks from Dan. So let's take a look at this. So Diva, inspiring lyrics, energizing dance, and beatdown skills are now locked while active. This also affects 5v5, all elements. Stunning moves will now only attempt to stun each target once, even if they are hit multiple times. A target that resists the initial stun will not have to make subsequent resistant checks. No more Diva cheese. So that's a pretty significant change, something that we've actually been requesting for a while. So yeah, no more Diva cheesing in Arena, so that's really exciting. Also a bummer for people that use the Diva cheese, but at the same time, this is really great in terms of, you know, the meta changing, which is what this update is all about. So another one that's worth noting, in my opinion, is the Dryad changes. So the Dryad, I think, is going to become more useful, just my opinion, especially if we look at the nature one in terms of 5v5. I think maybe she'll be usable more. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like she's gonna be up there with the healers now. So the vines created by ensnaring roots and hindering roots now goes 1.5 times faster. So just those just execute faster, which is good. But Healing Bloom on nature now scales with her HP instead of her target HP, and increased the global healing ratio by 35%. So I'm actually probably gonna start using her once the update hits. I'm gonna give her a few tests in 5v5, because as you guys know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, she was my bae when the game first came out in 5v5. I loved her as a healer. So she may be a good contender now in terms of healing in 5v5. So we'll have a look and run some tests when that is launched. Going down the list here, another notable change was Greater Demon. So Devour Magic now only removes 1 buff stack of each unique buff type instead of all buffs. So this means that stacked shields or toughness and strength will only have 1 stack removed. So that's a pretty important and significant change to Greater Demon, especially because he's a huge part of the meta now. So just note that if you have a Greater Demon. We'll talk about the magical girl, I suppose. My little heart is breaking. I finally got myself a Yua on my last summoning session, and magical girls are such a huge part of the game right now, and I'm so sad that they're getting changed, but rightfully so. It's just sad. It's really sad. I'm sad for magical girl. I'm sad for my champion, but I love her still, and she's still gonna be really super useful. So but let's take a look at it. So readjusted the stats of water magical girl to better suit her support role. Queen of Hearts on Dark Fire and Water now gives 3 stacks of toughness, 5 stacks with full skill up. So that's a good change. That's a little bit of a buff there. Damage dealt now scales with the damage received before reduction. This also affects 5v5, so that's fun. Queen of Hearts on Dark Fire and Water now locked while active. This also affects 5v5. So it's like they gave her a buff and then also nerfed her like a little bit. So it's not a huge change, but definitely going to even the playing field a little bit more with the magical girls. I still love her though. She's still great. She's still gonna be my boo. She is my boo. Anyways, let's move down the line here. There was some pretty significant changes to Mercenaries and Monkey Kings. I'll let you guys read through that, but it wouldn't be an update without a Monkey King buff. So as you know, Monkey Kings are getting buffed because every update they get something. But I think they'll be a bit more useful, especially a lot of people are building them for Guild Wars, and now they have a larger area of effect and they use their skills faster, all that kind of stuff. I'll let you read through it on your own, but definitely worth noting for Guild Wars specifically, in my opinion. Another change that I'm really excited about is to Pirate. So Light Pirate is getting a buff where he now deals more damage against shields that cannot be removed. And so I have a Light Pirate. It's the only pirate that I have that I think I'm gonna build, because the only other ones I have are water and fire. So I'm thinking this is a great option to build for Outer Harbinger. I know a couple of my guild members are building it. I'm gonna build mine and I'll let you guys know how that goes. There's also some significant changes to the vampire. So he now only steals 1 buff per target while the skill is active on the light and water, even if the target is hit multiple times. Pretty big changes to him. I only have the fire one. So there's also some bug changes here. Fix the bug where the Veil of Shadows and Crimson Storm could stack zones on top of one another. So they've balanced him out a bit more. I don't think it's a huge nerf to him at all. It's just more of a balancing thing because again, they're used so often now in Arena, but also in Guild Wars that they needed to be adjusted. So I'm really excited for that. Let's talk about 5v5 because there's quite a bit of changes for the better and for really exciting 5v5 events in the future. So I can't wait. Okay, so let's talk about 5v5 and the massive changes that are coming to 5v5. Match rewards have changed significantly and I'm really excited for this. So gold is now given as a reward for each match. That is huge, especially for the amount of time spent in 5v5 to now be able to get gold at the end of each match. That is awesome. The champions played during each match will now gain experience after each match. I am assuming it's going to be a small amount of experience, but that is really great. Each match rewards points towards chests. So there's a new reward system that's called chests. So new feature introduced to 5v5 is chests, a new reward system that lets players earn more points by playing regularly, including new champions. So now when you play 5v5, you can earn points towards opening chests that give you different rewards, including new champions. So players can collect points to open chests by playing 5v5 matches at the end of each match. Here's how the point system works. So if you win the match, you're getting 15 points. If you lose the match, you're still getting 8 points, which is great. And then if you get MVP for the game, that's an additional 5 points. All points collected within a single day count towards both the daily and weekly chests. So you'll be able to open chests on a daily basis. They reset at server reset, obviously. Chests open when you reach the maximum daily amount. Points after the maximum don't count. So you can't just like stack up a whole bunch of points and use them each day. You have to actually play every single day to get points towards the chest and open it. And then there's weekly chests as well. Each chest can only be collected once per week when you reach certain point milestones. Reward selection. So there's different types of chests. There's medium and large chests, and they are not fixed rewards. A selection of champion shards will be selected randomly and you can choose to keep one of them. So the medium chest contains 4 and 5-star champion shards, and then the large one will have 5-star champion shards. So this is really exciting. This is a really cool way for you to slowly over time get shards towards specific champions, including Nat 5s. So I'm really interested to see how this looks, how it plays out. I'm very visual, so I need to see it, but I'm really pumped because if there's a specific 5-star champion out there that you're looking for, you can slowly over time start to save for it with champion shards. So yay, this is exciting. New feature, custom lobbies, guys. It is here, it is coming. I'm so pumped. Introducing the custom lobby to the 5v5 mode. 10 players can group together and play together. You can play with different kind of matchups, 1v5, 3v4, 5v5, whatever the heck you want. This is really cool. And bots can be added to the lobby, ideal for streamers who want to organize tournaments. Okay, so who's up for doing a 5v5 tournament? Like as soon as this comes out? This is really, really cool. So we've been waiting on this. We knew it was coming. We didn't know what update it was coming in. So this is exciting. Also, new feature added is inactivity detection. So if someone's sitting there inactive, not only are they gonna get a warning message, but they will also lose points when the match is over and they won't get any rewards. So that's really good for people that are actually playing and then someone just sitting there doing nothing. It's kind of nice. Replay feature has been added. Now it was added into co-op, it's also added into 5v5. So that's great. So you can just basically like restart your lobby with the same players, which is awesome, especially for streamers that are just like trying to get going and do stuff and they're playing with a group of people maybe through Discord or whatever. Also, there is a new 5v5 talent, trade a portion of maximum health for cooldown reduction on all skills. There's a lot of changes to talents as well, and also a bunch of changes to champions. There's a ton of champion balancing in 5v5. Biggest to note is Blade Master. Her damage is going to be reduced pretty significantly, which is a good thing for people like me because I normally just play support units, and people with Blade Masters could literally like one-shot my support unit even if it was like 15. So really exciting changes. I'm not gonna go through all the champion balancing changes. You guys can do that and have a look at how that's gonna affect the champions that you guys play the most, but as you can see, I could go on for a long time because there's a lot of changes. So we're not gonna get into that. Just know that there's a lot of stuff coming out for 5v5. Most notable is the custom matchmaking. I cannot freaking wait to create custom lobbies and play with you guys. So if you guys wanna get on the action, make sure to add me on Twitch. Yes, do it. Do that thing. Anyways, guys, we've gone over a lot today talking about update 5 for Dungeon Hunter Champions. Once the update is live, I'll be doing a first look at everything. We'll be going through it. There'll be a video, but we'll be doing it live on Twitch, so make sure to come over and hang out. But that's gonna be it for today. I've rambled. This video is probably way longer than it should be. I'm very handsy today, by the way. I don't know why, just jazz hands. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. If you guys want to check out the patch notes for yourself, links in the description. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you liked it, or if you didn't, just give it a thumbs down, whatever. It's all good. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of update 5 so far in terms of what we found out through the patch notes. What do you like? What are you most excited about? Let me know and let's chat about it. Anyways, until the next video, guys, remember to spread love and not hate, and I will see you again soon. Peace!